Hey everyone, this is Mark from Wiki Design. If you're new here, welcome. If you are an existing subscriber, welcome back. So in this Blender tutorial, what I'm going to do is show you how you can take something like the simple default cube, drop it, and it will break automatically. So let me show you this animation right here I created. That's pretty dope, isn't it? So I've seen this across other channels and I wanted to know how they did it. So I'm going to be walking you through step by step on how I was able to pull all of this off. And the good news is that you could do all of this just kind of built into Blender. There's one little add-on that you're going to have to enable, but after that, you can just pull this off just using like the Blender physics and all of that. So let's just get started and jump right into Blender. Okay, so here we are inside of Blender, and this is all just a general file right here. So what we're going to do is actually keep the original default cube in this example. And now let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing is we need to go ahead and make sure you select the cube. And what we need to do is add more geometry to this default cube, because when you start to do this simulation called cell fracture, it's not going to work unless you have more faces or geometry to it. So while you have that selected, what I recommend is go into the edit, and then what I like to do is right click while it's selected, go to subdivide, and then you're going to get this new menu right down here, and number of cuts is where I like to change something to like 10. Or you can go ahead and always just add the loop cuts but yourself, but I like to go ahead and just do subdivide. It's a lot easier. So now I recommend you go ahead and you enable cell fracture within the Blender settings. So if you haven't already done this, what you can do is go underneath your edit, underneath your preferences right here, underneath add-ons. This is where you can go ahead and enable cell fracture. So if you don't have that here, you could just go ahead and search, and you should be able to enable it right within this menu. So now what we're going to do is select the object, and we're going to apply two materials to it. We're going to apply a material to the inside and to the outside. So what you need to do while that's selected, underneath your materials, let's just go ahead, and this is optional, but you can install an add-on that will make your life a lot easier for textures, or you can go ahead and just manually create the textures, whatever it may be. So what I like to use is the Polyhaven add-on. Like I said, it's optional. You can always create materials yourself, but let's go ahead and just show you how quick and easy it is to just do it all within here. It saves you a lot of time. So if I just go into here, and let's say I just click and drag something like dirty concrete, you could click that right onto the model. And if I go into the shader mode, you can see it's applied right there. And then they have this button on the right called Fix Texture Scale. I like that because it will kind of scale it to the right proportions. Now what we need to do, if you look here on the right side, we need to create another material that is going to be the interior piece. So this is going to be really important in the next step. So what we need to do is just kind of click and drag a material onto this slot right here. Not onto the model itself, but over here. So as you can see, this is going to be the outside material, and this will be the inside material. I'm going to go ahead and make some edits later to this. But now let's go ahead and actually start to cut this object up, and then I'm going to show you how to change it where you can have it fall and actually hit something and it will explode. Okay, so now we can get to the fun part and start to create all of those cuts. So the good thing is it's all automatic, so you don't have to manually do this stuff, of course. But what you need to do is, while you're in object mode up here, just go ahead and select your cube, and right here where it says object, and then right underneath here where it says quick effects, click this one right here called cell fracture. Then what I'm going to do is just change out a few things right here. The main one is going to be under here where it says mesh data, mesh data material. You're just going to hit that to a 1. So what that's telling the cuts to do is this material right here where I have highlighted, which is the interior, that's considered material 1. The one above it called dirty concrete is material 0. So of course, this is where you can go ahead and change any of these other settings, but let's just keep everything by default. But if you want, you can always go in here and start to change like the random numbers and all that type of stuff. Now, when I hit OK, it's going to automatically do the simulation. So you can see right here, it's pretty cool. You can see it automatically cut all of the mesh up into different like equal parts. And then over here on the right side, now you can see that there's like a whole bunch of different cuts. So it's like 100 different layers now. So what I recommend is, if you look right here, the original cube is still here. So if I move this, you can see the cube is right here, and then this is where all the cuts are. So what I recommend is you can either hide the original cube, or in most cases, probably just delete it. Okay, so now what I recommend is go ahead and actually select all of your new cuts right here. I'm just gonna hold down Shift, and then I'm gonna right click and go right here where it says Move to Collection. And then you can just hit the button New Collection right here and just give it a name. So let's just call it like Parts or something like that. And just hit Create. So that's going to make our life a lot easier, because now you can see everything's just inside this one collection called Parts. Okay, so now let's go ahead and actually add a plane to the bottom right here. So what we need to do is you could just go up to mesh, add plane, and then I'm just gonna hit S, scale it, something really big. Okay, so now I'm gonna select everything inside that collection. So you can just go ahead and double click right here, it selects everything. I'm just gonna hit G and Z and move it up. So however high you want it, you could just do something like this should be good, something like that, and just left click. Now, while that's still selected, what I recommend you now do is go up into object mode, and then right here it says rigid body, go ahead and click add active. So once you do that, what that's going to do is tell the system, okay, this is going to be the active simulation, and then it needs to hit something. And if I go ahead and just scrub the play head down here, you're going to notice it doesn't do anything. It just goes right through the floor. So what you need to do is that mesh we just added, you need to consider that like the crashing point. So what you need to do with that is just go ahead and click that plane, go to object, and then rigid body. This needs to be passive. So again, the ones that are going to be crashing is active, and then the plane is going to be considered passive. So now when you scrub it down here on the timeline, it's going to hit there, and now it will break apart right there, just like that. That's pretty cool. So now if I move the camera, you can see right here, it's gonna, if I start to scrub the timeline, that's how you can, view the animation. Now let's go ahead and the interior pieces, well, you can go ahead and make that a little bit whiter, and then we could fix this texture up right here. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. Because if you look right here, it's the scaling's all out of whack and it's kind of like distorted and stretched. But let's go ahead and fix that real quick. So now what I'm going to do is just create a new window right here. You like to move your cursor right here where the plus is, click and drag, and then you can just change this to the shader editor right here. Now let's go ahead and select one of these pieces. I like to make sure we're in the right mode. And you can see right here, you want to make sure that where it says slot 1, you want to make sure you're on the rough, white rough plaster. That's what I call this layer right here. So now we can go ahead and this one has a lot of like displacements and stuff like that. So you don't really need that in this situation. You could go ahead and just start to delete some of these things. Anything that's like the displacement, you can delete. So we can go into something like this. And right now it's like a UV map. So what we can do is just click and drag that to generated. So if I just go generated instead, and I could take this to like vector. And right down here, this is where we can go ahead and start to scale these things, but we need to change one other option, and that is right here still. I'm still kind of new to the node editor, so I'm kind of learning as I go. So what I did is up here, it was set to flat. You could change it to box, and now what we could do is start to scale. You can see right here, now I could scale these at the X, Y, and Z. So you could do something that looks pretty good, and then usually when I do like a box texture, I like it the same dimension. So 2 looks good, and then you could do 2 and then 2 on the Z. So this is for the interior pieces. That's going to give it a little more of a texture look. And then let me make this a little bit smaller here. So you could see if I go here, hit N, that gets rid of that. So now the outside pieces look a little bit different. So the outside is like this rough, but let's go ahead and say I want to make this a little bit lighter. What you could do is add a brightness after the texture right here. So we could go ahead and hit Shift A, and then we can go ahead and just search for like brightness and just click that right here. And then you could just apply it right here. So now right after the texture, you can go ahead and start to change how bright you want it maybe. This is where you can go ahead and give it a little bit of a different look. You can give it a different contrast, whatever it may be. So you want it to kind of look a little bit different than the exterior. So what I like is you can go ahead and start to scrub the animation, and then you can see the outside piece is right here and the inside is a lot whiter. So it should be cleaner because it doesn't have, all the dirt and everything from being on the outside. So you can go ahead and just scrub like that, and everything looks good right here. So now let's go ahead and just go into full mode right here. So now I'm going to show you a couple other options, and that is how you can change like the gravity, for example. So if you go into your Blender file right here, and this button right here for scene, if you go underneath your gravity, so the main thing is going to be the Z's at -9.8. It's kind of like a real world. So if you want it to go like a lot faster, you could go a higher number. If you want it to go slower, you could go, let's say 2. So we could just do 2 right here. So now when you play it, it's going to go the opposite way. So of course you don't want that. You want to go -2. Let's go ahead and do like -2. And now you can scrub along right here. And sometimes when you're scrubbing, it needs to like cache it. So it might not go, but you just kind of want to scrub a few times because it has to cache it. So now if you hit the space bar, it will play and it'll be a lot slower. So you can see. And when you do that, it's going to have different physics. So some pieces might not go as far. But if I go ahead and make this like -100. Now if I go back and then hit play, you see how fast it is. I just hit play. It's basically done in like 13 frames. So if you go here, if that's the look you're going for, that's how you can go ahead and change that right there. And that is just go ahead, hit play, and then you can see how much faster that is. And then one last thing I want to cover is while you're inside of this tab right here for scene, you can see right here, there's the rigid body world right here. So if you expand that, this is going to be the collection that you have right here. So this is, you can see, you can go to parts, and that's what this collection is right here. So if I go here, it's going to go real fast. And you saw how like it did that weird little glitch. What you could do if you ever have issues is go underneath your caching right here, and before you're about to render, it's best to like bake it. But if you ever need to clear out, you can clear your cache. You could delete all bakes. You could do all of this stuff right here. So delete all breaks. You could also like double click this, hit right, or I'll go up to object, and under your rigid body, there's a few other things in here as well. You can go ahead and bake to keyframes if you want. You can remove it. So if you start to have issues, I had issues rendering this out. If you have issues while you're rendering, like for example, the animation was it was done in like 3 frames when I was rendering. So I had to go in here and start to just clear out all the cache, and then you bake it, and then it should be good. So I have to go in here and, you know, reassign everything like we did in the beginning. But if you do have that issue and it's not rendering out correctly, it's because you got to go in here and make sure you clear out your cache. And that's it for this Blender tutorial on how you can go ahead and have an object explode on contact like this. I think it's pretty cool. This is the type of stuff I like to make. So let me know in the comments below if you like this video and what other type of effects you want me to cover inside of Blender. Again, this is Mark from Wiki Design.